नाजरीन आदाब, ये टेक वन टेलीविज़न है और आप देख रहे हैं हमारा हफ्तेवार प्रोग्राम परख के आज के शुमारे का मौजू है रियासत में फ्लोरिकल्चर का स्कोप। आपको बताते चलें कि हाल ही में एसोसिएटेड चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्रीज़ दिल्ली की तरफ से यहाँ पे फ्लोरी इंडिया फेयर के नाम से फूलों का एक एग्जीबिशन हुआ, जिसमें मुल्क के अलावा मुल्क के बाहर से भी बायर्स आए थे फूलों के सिलसिले में जानकारी हासिल करने के लिए और फूलों की ख़रीदारी के सिलसिले में। तो आज हमारी खुशकिस्मती है कि बैनुल अक़वामी सतह पे रशिया से आए हुए कुछ मेहमान हमारे साथ हैं, जिनसे हम रियासत में फ्लोरिकल्चर के स्कोप के बारे में बात करेंगे। एक और खुशकिस्मती ये है कि हमारे साथ आज एक ऐसे शख्स मौजूद हैं जिन्होंने रियासत में फ्लोरिकल्चर को फ़रोग़ देने के सिलसिले में इब्तदाई दौर में बहुत काम किया है। आइए मेहमानों से आपका तारुफ कराते हैं। हमारे साथ आज तशरीफ़ फरमा है रियासत के साबिक एक आला ऑफिसर एग्रीकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट के और फूलों के आज मुल्की सतह पे बहुत बड़े माहिर हैं जनाब राजकुमार मीराखुर साहब। राजकुमार मीराखुर साहब के बगल में तशरीफ़ फरमा है मोहतरमा एलन जो रशिया से तशरीफ़ लाई हैं। इनके बगल में तशरीफ़ फरमा है अलेक्जेंडर आई मुद्रगे जो रूस में एक फूलों की जो कारोबार करने वाली कंपनी है उसके डायरेक्टर हैं। इनके बगल में तशरीफ़ फरमा हैं जनाब खुर्शीद अहमद कस्बा, डिप्टी डायरेक्टर एग्रीकल्चर, और ये फूलों की काश्त और इसके कारोबार को फ़रोग़ देने के सिलसिले में काफ़ी फ़आल रहे हैं और किसी तारीफ़ के मोहताज नहीं हैं। वेलकम ऑल टू द शो। राजी, मैं प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत आपसे करना चाहूँगा, वो ये कि फूलों की काश्त के सिलसिले में और फूलों के कारोबार को फ़रोग़ देने के सिलसिले में यू हैव बीन ए पॉइनियर, और आप यहाँ रियासती महकमा एग्रीकल्चर में आला ओहदे पर भी फाइज रहे हैं और उस हैसियत में आपने बहुत काम किया है। चूँकि आज हमारे मेहमान जो हैं वो अंग्रेज़ी बोलते हैं, हम चाहेंगे कि आप जवाब भी अंग्रेज़ी में देंगे। सो माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज़ दैट व्हाट डू यू सी द स्कोप ऑफ फ्लोरिकल्चर इन कश्मीर?
Enormous, but let me first thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to the people of Kashmir who will be listening to this program. There's no doubt a tremendous scope for floriculture in India. It seems to me that God has made Kashmir for roses and carnations, for liliums, which we have not been able to exploit up till now. I established the first commercial rose project for India in the year 1991 in Pune. It was a great success. Just after 6 months having established the project, we could export the roses to the world's biggest auction center in Holland, in Amsterdam, in Aalsmeer, and we got almost the same prices which other countries were getting for their flowers. This was a big breakthrough. For the first time in the history of Indian floriculture, our roses could be auctioned along with the roses from Zimbabwe, Kenya, Ethiopia, Colombia, and the Ecuador. Well, there is always a difference in the size because of the climate. I did. Since then, we didn't look back, and I established about 25, 26 international export-oriented projects throughout India and also in Nepal. But unfortunately, nobody thought of having this, but it was always in mind that I wish I could start a project in Kashmir because it could be 3 times more successful than having it in other parts which are tropical, which are temperatures are not that favorable as we have in Kashmir. But I am happy that there is one pioneer, Mr. Khurshid Kasba Saab, who took an initiative. For the last 1 year has been after me that why don't you come to Kashmir, and I said I will come. Okay. In fact, I once wrote a letter also. So this somehow he took it a chance. He took it up this as a challenge that I have to see that he comes here, and I was very happy to come here in Srinagar and to participate in the whole fair, this floral fair. What I saw for the first time, some of the hybrid varieties which I grow in Pune, somebody had grown here in Kashmir. Incidentally, I saw it.
Okay.
It was amazing what he had open cultivation, I don't get this quality in polyhouse there, greenhouse. So there I told Rashid Kasba Saab that look here, you are sitting on a gold mine, exploit it, get more growers. I am there to help you.
Now that they have put in their efforts and Flori Fair has been organized over here, we have guests from Russia.
Yes.
Let me ask Mr. Alexander, what's the experience like, Mr. Alexander?
Yes, thank you. Namaste, our dear Indian colleagues. At the beginning, I want to express our warm feelings to the Indian people, and especially to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and express our thanks to the Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, ASSOCHAM, and the leadership of this state Jammu and Kashmir for the opportunity to visit your beautiful state and to take part in the Flori Indian Fair in Srinagar. I should say that in my talks with the Honorable Chief Minister Amar Abdullah after the conference, he stressed that Jammu and Kashmir, there are all conditions and possibilities to for production of flowers and to set and sell them abroad, to sell the trade relations for the interests of our both countries. Yesterday, with our colleagues, we visited the fields and saw the enormous plants for production flowers, such roses, carnations, and so on and so on. And we were very impressed with our colleagues. And we know and we are sure that their plans to have all their plans fulfilled in October this year will be fulfilled. I want only to say, bearing in mind the demands of the Russian market, which consists of $3.3 billion, and in 2-3 years it will be $5 billion. I should say that our import structure on countries of origin consists of, on the first place, the Netherlands, then Ecuador, then Colombia, then Kenya, Israel, even Ethiopia, China, Thailand, and and that's practically all. And unfortunately for us, we don't see on the Russian market the Indian flowers, and especially the flowers from Kashmir, because as we saw yesterday, the colors, the size, and the brands of these flowers are very, very beautiful.
This is a positive development that you are rating our flowers as to be one of the best flowers produced in the world. And I would ask Ms. Ellen, you must have seen the kind of cultivation and the kind of ways and means which are used in the cultivation. Do you see any flaw in them, or do you suggest, are there any suggestions, are there any shortcomings in our way of cultivating the flowers or exploiting them for the market?
Yes, we sell really great flowers. Great colors, very high quality, and of course a beautiful size.
Right.
That's why we're absolutely sure this project, the production flowers from Kashmir, will be great successful in Russian markets.
Okay.
And we are really happy to be waiting this production and represent this production in Russia.
Okay, we hope that Russia is our closest neighbor, and we hope that if we can exploit Russia, it will be a boost to the economy of Kashmir. Let me ask Mr. Khurshid, our guests are very encouraging, their notes are encouraging, and they are saying that our colors are good, our quality is good. Is the quantity commensurate with the quality?
No, exactly not, because our people were worried about market, whether there is a market or not. But this is market. You can never imagine what they are speaking about the flowers. We can grow quality flowers, as rightly Mr. Rajkumar said, that this is the only place in India which can grow roses best of the world quality.
Okay.
So this is the market. That's what I want to tell my people. This is the market. We were worried about market, and you have to grow only. Now so many people for the last 3 days they are here. They have met them and they have contacted them and they have taken their addresses. They want to start now have the cultivation of roses on commercial lines, and one more is carnations, one more is liliums. They can cultivate, and it is the only we have to produce now. Rest is nothing, because their uptake capacity is 1 lakh cut spikes of roses per week.
Okay.
Around the year. And we have to see the opportunity to grow our flowers around the year. So it's up to us now how to do and what to do.
Raji is an expert, and being a Kashmiri, he has a responsibility towards this. You are an expert, and roses and Kashmir are commensurate with each other. And
yes.
you are an expert in rose cultivation, and you are doing some job on it. And how do you feel that, what are the stakeholders? Who are the stakeholders? And on whom does the responsibility lie to exploit this thing?
Yeah, look here. This is an advice to all those people who are trying to come in the industry. The rose growing cannot be run by a remote control. The grower has to involve himself into the production. There are some projects have failed in Pune, Bangalore, in Gujarat. Why? Because the owners would sit in Calcutta, appoint managers, deputy managers at the farm. Now, rose, one should have green figures to deal with the roses. It's a daily, it's just like farming. If you don't go into the farm, soil your fingers, you can't get anything out of the soil. So the owner has to do, the man who wants to start the project has to work himself. And
I think for the success, the rule applies. Rule is the same everywhere.
Not in industry. Industry, you apply, you put some good engineers, he will do the job. 2 + 2 is always 4. But in agriculture, 2 + 2 could be 0, 2 + 2 could be 5. If weather is good, the man looks after it well, you get better production. If you neglect it, even delay by a day in a particular operation, it will be a disaster. She had taken some 2 roses. She was telling me yesterday, Mr. Alexander, we got beautiful rose from a farm yesterday. Very happy. But today he is telling me that rose wilted. Well, that's obvious. Why? Because they have not followed technology. They have to put chemicals in the water to keep it alive. So these basics have to be evolved, and that of course I am ready to help, as Mr. Khurshid has said. I am ready in my own state. If I can't do this, then I cease to be called a Kashmiri.
Sitting in Pune, I am sure that you must be looking back to your native land.
Absolutely. And you see, I established the first project in India. I established in Maharashtra, first in Gujarat, first in Nepal. Why can't I do it in Kashmir, my own state? So I'm sure that with the enthusiasm shown by Mr. Kasba, I'm really very happy that how much he is involved in this. I'm sure that we can produce international quality flowers. And the only thing we have to see, we have to have the volume.
We would talk about the impediments also, but later. Khurshid Sahab, as Mr. Rajkumar Mirakar has put it rightly, that we have certain impediments. So what do you see the flaws are there, and the policies, or what you call the technology has not been inherited in right perspective? Do you feel that there are certain things to be done, and what are those?
No, it's up to people whosoever want to come in this commercial floriculture. They have to take it very seriously, not for just a part-time job. It's not a part-time job. No, there's plenty of money, but it is not a part-time job. You have to get involved yourself around the clock. Then you can produce good things, quality things, because there is a quality, consistency, and quantity. There are three things. You have to maintain it. You have to maintain the quantity. You have to maintain the quality. You have to maintain the consistency. Then the international buyers can come to you and they can purchase you. Because if you will be selling roses today, after 1 week, no. After 1 month, no. So you are not a good player. So you have to keep consistency, quality, and volume, big volumes. Then things will improve. It's up to people. They have to take themselves. Government is helping them. We conduct programs. We organize shows. We are just to aware the people. Just by television. Most of the time you might have seen me on television speaking to people, you do this thing. When they take it rightly, then things will improve, otherwise not.
We have people from Russia, and they must have they must be having the experience. How do you compare the cultivation in Russia and in Kashmir? Do you think that there are certain things to be done, and what are those?
You know, as to this question, I would say that in Russia, by now is approximately 90% of the flowers, 90% are import of flowers, and only 10%, approximately 100 million pieces, are the production of the flowers. That's why on the import, to the import belongs a big part of our demand for the flowers. And certainly we have state enterprises and owned enterprises, but I suppose that for Kashmir, and bearing in mind that we are standing at the beginning of this process.
Right.
At the beginning, we can set up with the participation of such honorable men like this, and like this one, very professional.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have some negotiation with him, and it's, you know, I admire myself to speak with him. And if they set up from the beginning the proper process, it will be magnificent, and not even not Russia, but other countries will buy the flowers from Kashmir.
Miss Ellen, Mr. Alexander has said that this is the beginning, and if the beginning is good and if the beginning is right, then the whole process goes on rightly. What are the suggestions on the basis of your experience for our growers, for our people in the business, that they should adopt to make this industry a success?
I think it's, of course, a great climate. It's first of all. Plus technology and professionalism. I think that's all. And of course, great logistics. You have beautiful logistics because it's not so far from Moscow. That's a very big chance for our products.
Right.
That's why we are very sure that's waiting this production's very big success.
Okay, Raji, market is there, as they are saying that market is there everywhere. It's not only Russia, it's
Everywhere, throughout the world.
Throughout the world. And what's important is the technology and the logistics support.
Yeah.
How do you rate our technology which we are using, and how do you rate the logistics support which in fact comes from the government?
Yeah. Now look here, there are two aspects. Number one, I found on my visit this time, for the first time, I'm coming after 20 years to my own place, the youngsters, they were, how keen they are to take up this industry. They are very keen. In fact, for the last 3 days, I've been receiving telephones in my hotel. Could we see you again? Could we see you again? So this gives me an impression that there is an urge to come. Enthusiasm for youngsters. I want to repeat what Mr. Khurshid said. It has to be the profession taken by us. It is not be a part-time job. That you should know it in the first instance. Now, as far as market is concerned, I will like to advise all those growers, it is not enough to grow roses. It is important to grow quality roses. Roses can be grown by you, by him, anybody. Put water to a rose sapling, rose will come.
Right.
But that's not what we need.
Okay.
We need a very perfect quality. In fact, when you do rose trading...
So to raise up the quality, to produce the quality, you need the right kind of technology.
Technology.
And the support.
That's what I said. That's what I said. That you can understand all the projects, which of course I have done here later on, there were Dutch consultants or anything. We compete the international flowers. So our technology is the best. And luckily, we belong to the soil. So we know the problems. Suppose we get a man from a country who is not aware of what is, because agriculture, horticulture, it is adaptability to the local condition.
Right.
You cannot do the same thing what you do in France. Right. You can't implement the same thing
Those
here.
rules in Kashmir, yeah.
Yeah. So we have to adopt some particular methods of cultivation to suit our conditions. But basic thing is 80% God has been kind to give us a climate. It's easier to grow roses in Kashmir than for me to grow it in Pune.
Okay.
Pune flowers I'm growing under stress, giving artificial
Producing the artificial, kind of conditions.
Here, Kashmir, luckily, everything comes from nature. I have only to do the post-harvest technology. For example, when we harvest the rose, how to keep it for 20 days. The most important thing I would like to ask the audience, tell audience, which I said in the lecture also, why does a consumer buy a flower? You are going to the market to buy a rose. Why should you buy it? The first thing in your mind is vast life. Vast life. You should not get a flower today and tomorrow it should wither. Even if it is 2 rupees or 1 rupee, it is useless for you.
Yes.
So first thing is vast life. Second thing is the color. You should know you like a yellow color.
Is topography of Kashmir anyway affecting these kind of requirements?
In fact, what happened, as you once, what is the drawback? We have to grow them under controlled condition. We cannot grow them in the, we can grow them in the open, but that will not fetch market. We have to have greenhouses. We have to grow them in the greenhouses. So that's where the technology comes, the greenhouse technology. Because we have to cut off the ultraviolet rays of the sun that can be filtered by that greenhouse. And then that flowers inside will really grow faster, multiply faster and have a better quality and color. Because if you go in open, you have all the vagaries of the weather which always affect it, and it grows very slow.
Right.
So right type of technology, right type of greenhouse design is very important. And then most important is if we export, she wants a cold chain. It has to be, when we send it from this place, from the day we cut the flower to the time it reaches to Russia,
it's a big process.
It takes 4 or 5 days.
Right.
Then after that it reaches Moscow, it has to stay for about 10 days or 12 days with the buyer.
Right.
Then, so how can we do it? That's technology. We have to do post-harvest technology, post-harvest cultural practices. Okay, so we have to have these preservatives, so that the flower, the buyer will again buy flower from them, and she will again take flower from a Kashmiri grower, and then Kashmir grower becomes famous not only in Scandinavia or in the Russia, throughout the world.
Throughout the world. And for this, he said that cold chain is very important.
Yes, very.
To provide cold chain is the responsibility of the government. You must have met as you said in the beginning of the program, that you met the Chief Minister Umar Abdullah. What was the response about the facilities to be provided by the government for the promotion of this floriculture?
You know, as far as I understood, your leadership and personally Umar Abdullah is very interested and interested in that process. Because, as he said, you have a lot of people, unemployed people, which could work on these fields, which can be involved in this process. Then I suppose the dotations of the government for it is, you know, it's, I suppose nowadays it's the one of the main gears which the government of your state, Jammu and Kashmir, can use to improve the prosperity of the people here.
Right.
Because if you produce the flowers, you'll sell them abroad, you'll receive foreign currency and so on and so on. As we see in other countries, in Netherlands, in Colombia and others. It is the big part of the budget of the each country.
Mr. Khurshid, it's a positive development that our Chief Minister is very much interested in all those sectors which could be exploited for boosting the economy of the state. Do you think that right now we have the facilities and the support intact to achieve the goal which they are making a mention of?
Definitely, because there are so many schemes with state government as well as central government. They are assisting the farmers, they are assisting the growers for a particular purpose. Suppose it is a logistic for this cold chain. They are providing the assistance, both from state as well as from central government. Plenty of funds are there. It is only we have to utilize them. When we utilize the funds, then we can make it, no problems.
Let me once again come on the cold chain. Mr. Rajkumar has said that it at least needs 5 days from the beginning of the process of cutting the flower, when it reaches to the last end, that's to the buyer. It should be only 5 or 6 days. The span should be 5 or 6 days. Do you think that for that kind of an export, we have facilities available?
No, Mr. Rajkumar, I will add one more thing to Mr. Rathor's information, because it takes us from Srinagar to Delhi, it takes around about 15 to 18 hours in a rough van. Suppose we send flowers from this place to first Delhi. It takes 18 hours. From Delhi to Moscow, it is a 6 hours flight.
Yeah.
So 18 plus 6 is 24 hours only. It may be 30 hours. So for that matter, government is providing the facility of this what you call the rough vans, and they are going to construct one this cold store at airport,
okay.
And one more is going to be constructed in Srinagar Tulip Garden, and so many things, and people can have a PPP.
You cannot think of the business or the export taking off till the time you have these kind of facilities intact. How hopeful are you that we get them sooner?
No, I tell you one thing. First, we must have production. When there is production, things will come automatically.
Okay.
Otherwise, if we will go constructing of these greenhouses, what you call this cold storage.
Now the farmer has an apprehension that if I produce quantity, what will I do if I don't have the facilities to make sure that they reach to the buyer in time?
That's what I told you earlier. This my talk, that Government of India and state government are very much positive for providing assistance to those such farmers for development of the cold chain as well.
Can we say that whatever production is today, whatsoever is the quantum of production today, we have the facilities to export them?
Of course, it's
Do we have?
Production is not to that extent we can export it. We have little production. It is not sufficient for our domestic market. So we have to first make the production. We have to first make the big farms. Then we must think of this, because domestic market is also there. Plenty of domestic market is there. Even local market.
Rajkumarji, you have an eye on the business world over.
Yeah.
And then you have the knowledge about the floriculture sector in Kashmir.
Yeah.
Now it's a, what I should say that we are very fortunate that you are here with us. What are the suggestions?
Well, suggestions, my first, see, in Kashmir there are some drawbacks also. I may not say that everything is rosy for roses. There are some drawbacks that we can cultivate them just for 8 or 9 months. Then there is a winter. You see, to be very frank, normally when we are out in, I'm talking of Pune, 70% of the money you earn during 5 months of the year. That is between November and March.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that is the time we can't go.
We don't have any activity over here, yes.
But we are very lucky. Kashmir is nearest to Moscow to get the flowers, and Moscow has a need for year round.
Round the year, okay.
That time, from April to November, our roses in Pune, even I don't want to look at that, because it's so hot now. This time is 42 degrees temperature, 44 degrees temperature. All my projects, I have told them to pinch it, not to produce.
Okay.
Just cut them.
Close them down. Okay.
Close them down. But Kashmir is handy. You have demand not only in Moscow.
Is there a possibility to grow flowers during this period, I should say about during the winters?
We can, but the cost of production will be so high. Why shouldn't then they themselves grow polyhouses? Why Europe can grow it? Why the high prices are high in Europe and throughout the world? Well, because there the temperatures are the same in Kashmir. They stop the production during the winter because the cost of heating is so costly, expensive, and you cannot, it's alarming. So that time we can be taken from this place, but we have an advantage, I told you. During summer, when Indian Kashmir roses are the best, that time our roses are the worst.
Okay.
So you
can exploit.
You can exploit that situation.
Okay.
So you have what we earn in November, you can earn from April to November. I was talking to Mr. Khurshid, this is unique. And when we have these flowers, you have demand in Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
Because there it is winter. They can grow. So we have a nice time. We have New Zealand market, we have Australian market, we have Russian market. But as he told you, you be sure that after 3 years, after 4 years, India is going to be such a big market, you may not have flowers to export. This will all be consumed here. So no problem. This is rose growing. Let me tell the whole who are listening to you. rose growing is the safest business. Safest. You never lose money on it unless you produce very bad flowers. But once you adopt the technology, you have always a success, and there is a lot of money, not very huge money, there's money into it, so that the grower is satisfied, is happy, I'm doing a right profession.
Let's hope that every stakeholder does take your advice.
I hope that they do
very
it and
seriously
do it religiously.
And do it religiously. I'll take the last answer from Miss Ellen. Miss Ellen, one more development that has been prevailing for some time now, that a lot of women are coming into the trade. You being a woman, how do you rate this?
You know, it's interesting time for works, and I think business and women, it's absolutely great. Because this so much
Potential.
attention, yeah, that's why it's easy for women.
Because such beautiful women, and
Thanks.
you know, women likes beautiful flowers, and that's why beautiful women goes to the floricultural market to produce and to trade the beautiful flowers.
I
And
want
of
to
course
add,
women-
add one
Beauty.
small
Yes,
thing
yes, yes.
to your question. There are three things which are linked to certain other professions, but more so for floriculture. A man who grows roses should have surgeon's fingers, eagle's eyes, and lion's heart. So, lion's heart. Why lion's heart? There are ups and downs when a grower goes, or there is a disease, there is some insect pest. He should not lose heart. It will again come up. Surgeon's fingers. I would say lady's fingers, because you are dealing with the delicate flowers. The petals, the flower is very delicate. So women are the best to deal with these flowers. In the post-harvest technology, we prefer women.
What about the eagle's eye?
Eagle's eye. When a grower enters into a greenhouse, at the corner of the greenhouse he finds it's yellow. He should have the eye to watch a problem, disorder, in the farthest corner, so that he can catch, oh, there is some problem there.
We hope that your expertise is being put in place, and the people who are in the trade do use all these techniques,
Yes.
which are very important.
It was more for ladies, because
cultivation of
surgeon's
for the
fingers.
cultivation of the roses and all the flowers. Khushita, we are very thankful to you that you arranged this program, and we are equally thankful to the guests that they took some time off and did share their experiences in Kashmir. And over and above, we are very thankful to Mr. Rajkumar Mirakur, who is one of the great experts in floriculture sector, and he owes some responsibility to his native land also.
No doubt.
And if he can share his experience and expertise with our entrepreneurs, we are not only hope but are sure that floriculture will groom in Kashmir. Absolutely. And we will be very soon one of the biggest exporters of floriculture in the world.
I agree with you.
I'm very thankful on behalf of Take One Television. I extend my heartiest gratitude for all you people to come here and share your experience and expertise. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
और नाजरीन, इसके साथ ही टेक वन पर इख्तिताम को पहुंचता है। मेज़बान जलील अहमद को दीजिए इजाज़त, इस वादे के साथ कि अगले हफ्ते दोबारा आपकी खिदमत पे हाजिर हो जाएंगे एक और मौजू के साथ और चंद और शख्सियात के साथ। तब तक के लिए खुदा हाफिज़। Welcome all to the show.
Thanks.
राजी, मैं प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत आपसे करना चाहूँगा। वो ये कि फूलों की काश्त के सिलसिले में और फूलों के कारोबार को फ़रोग़ देने के सिलसिले में यू हैव बीन ए पॉइनियर, और आप यहाँ रियासती महकमा एग्रीकल्चर में आला ओहदे पर भी फाइज रहे हैं, और उस हैसियत में आपने बहुत काम किया है। चूँकि आज हमारे मेहमान जो हैं वो अंग्रेज़ी बोलते हैं, हम चाहेंगे कि आप जवाब भी अंग्रेज़ी में देंगे। सो माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज़ दैट व्हाट डू यू सी द स्कोप ऑफ floriculture in Kashmir?
Enormous. But let me first thank you for having
नाजरीन आदाब, ये टेक वन टेलीविज़न है और आप देख रहे हैं हमारा हफ्तेवार प्रोग्राम परख। परख के आज के शुमारे का मौजू है रियासत में फ्लोरिकल्चर का स्कोप। आपको बताते चलें कि हाल ही में एसोसिएटेड चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्रीज दिल्ली
Giving me the opportunity to speak to the people of Kashmir who will be listening this program. There's no doubt a tremendous scope for floriculture in India. It seems to me that God has made Kashmir for roses and carnations, for liliums, which we have not been able to exploit up till now. I established the first commercial rose project for India in the year 1991 in Pune. It was a great success. Just after 6 months having established the project, we could export the roses to the world's biggest auction center in Holland, in Amsterdam, in Alsmeer, and we got almost the same prices.
साबिक एक आला ऑफिसर एग्रीकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट के और फूलों के आज मुल्की सतह पे बहुत बड़े माहिर हैं जनाब राजकुमार मीराखुर साहब। राजकुमार मीराखुर साहब के बगल में तशरीफ़ फरमा हैं मोहतरमा एलन जो रशिया से तशरीफ़ लाई हैं। इनके बगल में तशरीफ़ फरमा है अलेक्जेंडर आई मुद्रगे जो रूस में एक फूलों की जो कारोबार करने वाली कंपनी है उसके डायरेक्टर हैं। इनके बगल में तशरीफ़ फरमा हैं जनाब खुर्शीद अहमद कस्बा, डिप्टी डायरेक्टर एग्रीकल्चर, और ये फूलों की काश्त और इसके कारोबार को फ़रोग़ देने के सिलसिले में काफ़ी फ़आल रहे हैं और किसी तारीफ़ के मोहताज नहीं हैं। की तरफ से यहाँ पे फ्लोरी इंडिया फेयर के नाम से फूलों का एक एग्ज़िबिशन हुआ जिसमें मुल्क के अलावा मुल्क के बाहर से भी बायर्स आए थे फूलों के सिलसिले में जानकारी हासिल करने के लिए और फूलों की ख़रीदारी के सिलसिले में। तो आज हमारी खुशकिस्मती है कि बैनुल अक़वामी सतह पे रशिया से आए हुए कुछ मेहमान हमारे साथ हैं जिनसे हम रियासत में फ्लोरिकल्चर के स्कोप के बारे में बात करेंगे। एक और खुशकिस्मती ये है कि हमारे साथ आज एक ऐसे शख्स मौजूद हैं जिन्होंने रियासत में फ्लोरिकल्चर को फ़रोग़ देने के सिलसिले में इब्तदाई दौर में बहुत काम किया है। आइए मेहमानों से आपका तारुफ कराते हैं। हमारे साथ आज तशरीफ़ फरमा है रियासत के